I came home from work. The front door was unlocked. Most of the lights were on in the house, and the window was in the front was open. Obviously, it all very unusual. And then I started checking on the kids. Checked on the boys first, and then we checked on her. And that's when we realized she was gone.
The only thing I can think of is, maybe somebody wanted a baby and she. I hope that's what it is. She's everything. She's our little girl. She's completed our family, and she means everything to my boys. And we 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 need her home. I can't be without her.
The Lisa Irwin case is back in the spotlight after 9 years. Baby Lisa went missing from her crib in 2011 at just 10 months old. Lisa would now be 10 years old. Her whereabouts are still unknown to this day. On October the 3rd, 2011, 10-month-old Lisa Irwin was put to bed in her crib around 6:40 p.m. while her mom Deborah went outside and socialized for a little bit and had some drinks with a neighbor. When Deborah went in and looked in on Lisa around 10:30 p.m., Deborah said that Lisa was in her crib. When Lisa's dad, Jeremy, arrived home from an overnight shift, he was pulling around 4 a.m. He noticed something unusual. Most of the lights were on inside the house, and the front door was unlocked. As he walked room to room turning off the lights, he noticed an open window with the screen pushed in what he called their spare living room, which was their computer room. This window faced the front side of the house. Jeremy then went to check on everyone. First, he went to his and Deborah's bedroom and he saw Deborah and one of their sons asleep. He then went and checked on his other son. Then he went to check on baby Lisa. But when he went to baby Lisa's room, her crib was empty. Jeremy woke Deborah up and asked her where the baby was. Needless to say, they became hysterical. Jeremy and Deborah began searching the house. Jeremy even searched the outdoors, but baby Lisa was nowhere in sight. After about 15 minutes of searching, Jeremy went to call the police. However, there was a problem. Jeremy noticed his phone was missing. Actually, three phones were missing that were left laying on the counter. Fortunately, Jeremy had his work phone on him, so he was able to call the police on that. The police arrived and a search ensued for missing baby Lisa, and to this date, the search continues. Throughout the years, there's been a lot of speculations, a lot of theories as to what happened to baby Lisa. As we know, a 10-month-old baby couldn't have went outside of the house by herself. Even if she somehow did get out of the crib, which is highly unlikely but not unheard of, she would not have been able to get out of the house unassisted. So let's take a look at some of the theories that have been put out there over the years and let's go over those. First, let's look at the parents. More specifically, let's look at Lisa's mom, Deborah.
We went around the house and we're screaming for her. And I said, call 911, call 911.
Obviously, they are our main focus. I'm not calling them suspects.
What's going on? Where's she at? Why is she gone?
So now they're looking for a body and not a baby.
We all want the safe return of baby Lisa.
We need her home.
I know you guys both firmly believe Lisa is alive and Lisa is out there.
Absolutely. There's not a doubt in my mind. And I'm her mom. I have it, my mother's intuition, and I have never once felt for a second that she is been hurt or gone.
Now, let's look at mom and dad, Deborah and Jeremy Irwin. So let's go over a few things that raise some red flags to investigators and to the public in general. So Deborah lied about the last time that she checked in on baby Lisa. At first, Deborah said that she checked in on baby Lisa around 10:30, and then she later changed that, and she said she doesn't recall if she went back into Lisa's room after putting her to bed around 6:30. So she did say she put her to bed at 6:30, checked in on her at 10:30. She was standing up in the crib. And then later she says, well, I don't remember if I ever went back after I put her to bed at 6:30. And we also know that the cadaver dogs picked up a scent next to Deborah's bed. Now, cadaver dogs, they're very reliable. They require around 1,000 hours of training, so they're pretty accurate. So it does make me wonder what the cadaver dogs picked up the scent of. And another thing, Deborah was drinking that night, and Deborah lied about the amount she drank. First, she said that she had only a couple of drinks or glasses of wine, and then it went to 4 to 5, and then upwards, but less than 10. But let's give her the benefit of the doubt. She could have been embarrassed about the situation. Her little baby was missing. She was drinking to the point, possibly drunk, possibly blacked out. So, you have to give her the benefit of the doubt. And also, law enforcement said that Deborah failed a polygraph, but that was later questioned, and it was said there's a possibility that the police lied about this. And we also know that we can't put much faith into polygraphs. They don't hold up in a court of law because they aren't the most accurate tool. And also, law enforcement can lie and say that someone failed even if they didn't. It's a tactic that they use, and of course, they're allowed to. And you have to think, if Deborah were involved, then what would she have done with baby Lisa? There was only a small amount of time, very small window, that Deborah would have had. Plus, as she admitted, she was drinking. So could she really have left without her other children and her neighbors knowing, and have been home in bed before Jeremy arrived from his overnight shift at 4 o'clock or around 4 o'clock? Yeah, anything's possible, but in my opinion, that's unlikely. And like I said, she was drunk, so I don't think, someone drunk is going to be able to plan a perfect crime. But again, just my opinion. And also, Deborah and Jeremy, they were very cooperative with law enforcement at first, and this did later change. Now, Deborah said that's because law enforcement were lying to her, putting out false information, and accusing her and Jeremy of doing something to Lisa, more specifically her. And she said she was interrogated for over 12 hours straight. And she just felt that they were wasting their time focusing on her when she wasn't responsible for this. She just wanted them to find baby Lisa. She was frustrated with the police department. And also, they unveiled some new information about a month after baby Lisa went missing, and it was a fraudulent transaction on their debit card for around $69. And, even though police did see this charge, did confirm the website, the only thing Deborah said is they were told that they passed it over to the FBI. And, just really didn't keep them in the loop of what was going on. So, I can understand her frustration, why she felt like she needed to stop cooperating. And I do remember hearing law enforcement made a statement saying that the stranger abductions are incredibly rare, and I agree with that. It is not, or it's typically that someone in the family takes the child, so that is typical. But they were questioning the FBI agent, why would this child at this age be disappearing now? And of course, as we all know, babies are stolen and sold, trafficked. So why are they questioning, someone taking a baby? There could be many reasons why someone would take a baby, but it just bothered me that they would question, that why a baby was taken. They did not believe that it was a stranger abduction, and therefore that's why they kept focusing on Deborah. They didn't believe her story. So let's move on to the person I would, in my opinion, I would put money on it. He knows something. But let's talk about Tanko, aka Jersey.
This is 42-year-old John Tanko, better known as Jersey, a handyman who worked around the Northland neighborhood near the Irwin home. Tanko was in court today on charges not related to the baby Lisa case. But early on in the investigation, we know police were anxious to find Tanko and question him about the night Lisa disappeared.
He caused a lot of problems.
There, Alka Azria lives just a block up on North Lister from the Irwin home.
2 months ago?
He says he called the cops on Tanko 2 or 3 times, claiming he was breaking into his neighbor's house across the street. All the while, the homeowner was living out of state.
And we chased him one time over here, but he never lived here.
Thayer said Tanko would break into the house through a window, which could be what had investigators looking to find him. We know a window in the Irwin home was open, the screen pushed in, the night Lisa vanished. According to court documents, Tanko even went as far as to list this home as his home address on court papers.
All right, so let's have a look at Tanko, aka Jersey. Did Tanko take baby Lisa? Let me go ahead and get this out there. Tanko is not a suspect in the case, although in my opinion, I haven't a clue why he is not. But hey, that's not my call. Let's take a look at some of the suspicious circumstances surrounding Tanko and why many, including myself, believe that Tanko knows more than he lets on. Tanko was known to hang out in that neighborhood. He was a handyman, and he worked in that area. There was a dumpster fire in the area the night baby Lisa went missing. Tanko has a history of setting fires. In this dumpster fire, investigators found burned baby clothes. But let's have a listen to a short clip.
Video. Is the man in this shot connected in some way to the disappearance of baby Lisa Irwin? ABC News has learned that police are investigating one possible scenario that seems to support Lisa's parents' claim that their daughter was abducted. ABC's Rob Nelson is on the story. Rob, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. That's right, and GMA has obtained some exclusive video that could shed some new light on this 3-week-old mystery and even lead police, finally, to a suspect. It is this surveillance video obtained exclusively by GMA that is giving the family new hope. Look at the top left corner, a person dressed in white leaving a wooded area at 2:30 a.m. the night of baby Lisa's disappearance. You cannot tell if they are carrying anything, but here's why it's so important. The family claims baby Lisa was abducted. They point to key witnesses who saw a suspicious man that night carrying a baby. One spotted the man here just after midnight, 3 houses away from the baby's home. The other saw the man with the baby here at 4 a.m. and the location of the surveillance footage here along the route between the two at 2:15 a.m. And GMA has learned that police are investigating a fire that took place at this dumpster at that same time in that same area. That dumpster fire could explain not only why burned clothes were shown to Lisa's parents during interrogation, but also why authorities searched an area landfill as part of the investigation. The dumpsters emptied at that landfill. The man who reported the fire tells GMA flames were shooting several feet into the air, and he believes some kind of accelerant was used.
Tanko also has a history of breaking into houses. The window screen at Deborah's house had been tampered with. Now, police done a reenactment and said that no one would have been able to get through that window because it was too high up. And there was also unsettled dust there. But remember, Jeremy said the door was unlocked when he arrived home from work. So maybe this person realized that window was too high and decided to use the front door. Was it unlocked already, or maybe he manipulated the lock? And we do know that 2 separate people came forward and said that they had seen a man in the area walking around carrying a baby that only had a diaper on in the middle of the night, wee early hours in the morning. And this was October. It was chilly outside. I think they said it was like 44 degrees. And the description that both of these men gave fit Tanko's description. One of these men actually stopped and asked this man carrying the baby if he needed help or a ride somewhere, but the man refused. Both said that they called the police later when they found out about baby Lisa's disappearance. But let's have a listen to the clip from one of the people that saw this man walking around with the baby.
I was coming down 435, and I exited on 48th Street. And as I was pulling up to the 48th Street, I seen a man walking, carrying something. And when I got closer, I seen it was a baby. And I stopped about 30, 40 foot from him. He was going down Randolph. And I stopped, and he turned around and looked at me, and I looked at him. And I just went on. But I was thinking, what an idiot out there with a baby with no blanket, no coat, and diapers and a t-shirt, as cold as it was.
Now, that was one sighting of a gentleman that saw the baby and a man that night. There was also another sighting by a neighbor. Her and her husband saw a man walking down the street with an infant. They said he walked into the yard of the house that Tanko was staying at. And there was also a neighbor that said Tanko was working at one particular house and it had sprinklers installed in the yard. Well, around 9:30 p.m. that day, she said that she noticed the sprinklers were on, but said that they were off at 11 o'clock p.m. that night. She assumed that Tanko turned them off, but I do know sprinklers can be set, and typically they are set for particular times. So I'm not sure why the neighbor thought that someone actually manually shut these sprinklers off instead of them shutting off by themselves because of a timer, but maybe it was just out of the norm. I don't know. But let's take a look at the missing cell phones. And remember, I told you about the missing cell phones at the beginning. And let's take a look at Tanko's ex-girlfriend, Megan.
Family's cell phones are reportedly missing. Published reports say those phones stayed close to the family home and were used throughout the night.
All right, so Tanko was questioned after a phone call from one of the missing phones. Remember, I told you about the three missing cell phones from the house the night that baby Lisa went missing. Well, one of those missing cell phones called Megan, Tanko's ex-girlfriend. They had broken up about a week before Lisa went missing from her crib. And Megan confirmed that the cell phone was called by one of the missing cell phones of Deborah and Jeremy. Megan said many other people had access to her cell phone, and she did not make or receive that call that came in, which I'm thinking it was around a 50-second call, but Megan said it was not her that answered the phone, nor did she have that phone on her when that call came in. And the missing cell phones were pinged close to the parents' house and were accessed throughout the night that baby Lisa went missing. So just very strange that someone, involved in Tanko's life gets a phone call on a missing cell phone, it's missing from the same house that baby Lisa is missing from. So again, just very strange. And also Tanko's ex-girlfriend, Megan, she had previously told Tanko that she wanted a family. She wanted to be a mom. And could this have prompted Tanko to take baby Lisa? And then maybe he realized, ooh, this isn't going to work. I've snatched a baby from her crib and taken it to my girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, who knows? But again, just a lot of speculation theories out there because we don't know. But what do you guys think about this case? As I said, a lot of fingers were pointed to the parents, Deborah and Jeremy, at the beginning of all of this. And then when all this other information came back that I've went over with Tanko, things started getting, of course the finger pointed his way, but yet police have ruled him out at this time. But let me know what you guys think. Who do you think is responsible? Baby Lisa is still missing. Of course, she's not a baby anymore. She's still missing. Let me know what you guys think and we'll discuss it in the comments. As always, thank you guys for watching.